yeah. Just normal.
We got Hugh Steer here for Ad Luna, his entry to SPFBO. Hugh, what did you bring to drink today?
What I've got is in keeping with a sort of with the book. We have the Moon People who basically drink steam and like eat honey, and so what I did. I took some steam and some honey, and then added some whiskey and lemon, and we have a hot toddy in here, which is still really hot. So I haven't actually drunk it yet.
So anyone who's a fan of Greek history knows what a symposium is. And it's basically when a bunch of ancient Greek fellows got together and they mixed their wine into one big jungle juice situation. So I mixed together a little bit of a white wine with Sprite, because for some reason I associate Sprite with the moon and it seems kind of sci-fi. So I don't know, some sort of Martian campaign or something like that. But at any rate, cheers. I don't have a name for it yet. Maybe just Astral Delight or something.
Oh, good.
There we go.
That's right.
Luna is kind of high concept, so would you mind giving us a rundown of what it's about for somebody who is totally unfamiliar with the book?
Sure, yeah. So basically it is based on an ancient Greek book, ancient Roman work of satire by Lucian of Samosata. And basically what he did was saw all the people writing about fantastic places they'd never been and lying in their official histories, and decided to do it himself. And so wrote this book where he goes all over the place, goes to the moon, giant whale with a continent inside it. There's an island made of cheese. It's pretty cool. But the moon bit is only about 30 pages. And so after writing 2 dissertations on it, I wanted to write an actual book. So this is the story of some Greek explorers who go to the moon and end up in the middle of a war between the moon and the sun. And it's a weird reimagining of this vision of what space was like and what stuff was out in the cosmos from the mind of someone from 125 AD, which is really different to what we have now, obviously. And so it comes out originally.
And you incorporate a lot of like a high-end sci-fi as well, like as you said, like the moisture condensers and stuff like that. I'm wondering. Sorry, go ahead. Were you about to say something?
No, I mean, that's basically, again, it's like this building on what Lucian puts originally. He just says, it's all like
Lucian then, huh?
It's all like single sentence stuff where he's like, oh yeah, and they all wore clothes made of glass and everything made out of copper, and they ate steam and caught frogs in the sky. So I'm kind of taking that and building up. So yeah, you have this big. There are no very few female characters in this, thanks to Lucian. Everyone is.
Yeah, what can you do? I mean. Yeah.
But it makes it interesting. That was an interesting writing challenge.
Some female characters in there, or some more.
I squeezed in some female Greeks just to have some women. Yeah. Because there's a bit in the book where they talk about how the Lunas are born, and it's like this thing where like yes, they're all the elves in space are gay, as it were, because they're all men, and that kind of helped.
I noticed like on his father's shoulders with the apostrophe after the S. Give a subtle lead up to that as you're getting to that main concept, which I thought was pretty cool. It was pretty interesting. Very organic.
It was a nice opportunity for a kind of a reverse horror moment of the human finding out how the Lunas are born, and then the Luna finding out how human children are born. And he's like, what? No, that. I'll stick with being born out of my father's leg. Thank you very much. Which is how they're usually born. It was a nice moment there, and it let a little bit of a different perspective, but. Yeah, gender was an interesting one, just because I didn't want to have no women, but equally that's how the society is presented. I thought it was more interesting to do that literally all male society, and they're a species of fully male, one gender. More interesting to do that than to insert women and lose that uniqueness, and then having the solars be kind of genderless because they're big balls of fire floating around in the middle of a star. They don't need gender either. There's no point in doing that.
Maybe the sequel can deal with Amazons or something.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, Lucian doesn't treat women so kindly in the original book because, he's a man from...
Who does in that period, though? That poor woman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a Roman. He doesn't treat women very nicely. He doesn't treat lesser species very nicely in later bits in the book. There's a bit of genocide, which I didn't really cover here.
Yeah. So usually if they have a political critique, they expose that or transpose that onto like a very fantastical canvas. I'm wondering, do you think that there is an implicit critique in the moon journey, like some sort of analysis that you could offer?
Moon, in the
And
Moon Jones, I'd have to consult. I'd have to
just
consult the essay. Hold on, I'll have to consult the original.
on the
I
side.
think, if I remember right, the Moon stuff is mostly. It's kind of like the Roman Greek meeting of civilizations. Like they're both very civilized, they're both very intelligent, and they come and Endymion comes and they go like, "Oh, you're Greeks, great. I was a Greek once," because it's that myth of Endymion being whipped into the sky to sleep on the moon forever. So you have that immediate connection. Oh, these are civilized people. They speak our language. They have a good civilization. They're perfectly acceptable. Which then contrasts later to the more barbarian civilizations they encounter later, when they've got these monsters and the fish people and these bull-headed monsters later on and weird giants and all sorts. Like it's that kind of contrast. So it's almost like a meeting of minds between, I don't know, maybe some other big empire like Persia, or he's harking back to that kind of day.
Right. No, that's very cool. Huh. What else? Um, are you thinking of doing a sequel, or do you think the tale has been told?
I think Ad Luna is going to be the only one. Again, because I mentioned that if I was going to do the next bit of the true history, that's when we start getting into the uncomfortably genocide bits. And as I wrote it, the Lucian I constructed as the character is a nicer, more forgiving person
Mhm.
than the actual Lucian was, and the Lucian in the true history was. And I kind of don't want to ruin that. Like, you want to do another episode at the start, they go somewhere else and do something else amazing, but it would get very murdery very quickly. And the moon bit's the best bit. Nothing's going to top the moon bit. I've just got my notes, as it were, and
Nice.
the actual.
A folder. That's a very nice folder, I will say.
Yeah, I bound all my essays from uni just because I'd spent so long writing them, and no one else
Did
is
you
ever going to read
study
them again.
history in college? What did you study in college?
I did history degree undergraduate and then ancient history masters.
I did history too, and I loved it. What was your thesis on?
Lucian, both of them.
Was it? Okay,
Yeah,
including
yeah,
that.
yeah. The first dissertation was on like how did I cast the first dissertation? It was kind of like a look at now, like yeah, that kind of originating of science fiction tropes in Lucian and referencing all sorts of stuff, like a bit of Star Trek, a bit of Ian Banks, things like that. And then the second one was specifically, right, this is Star Trek for ancient Rome and how that works.
Yeah,
To write that long for. And yeah, that was the second piece. So yeah, I managed to get away with writing about Star Trek for two succeeding dissertations, and it made the reading really fun. And the
right.
bibliography is great. It's just full of episodes of Star Trek. It's so much
And
fun.
like Star Trek, it's also commenting on something in real life, as we discussed earlier.
Exactly, yeah. It's an epic journey to like lots of different little episodic islands where they meet something that is vaguely relevant to the modern day and beat it in some manner, or like befriend it, usually beat it because they're Romans and that's kind of the way they're doing stuff. And then they just keep going and finding a new monster of the week every